Hello, and thank you for joining us on Classic Vinyl Podcast. This is the podcast where we listen to and review songs and albums from the classic vinyl era of the 60s and 70s. I'm one of your hosts, Justin, and I'm joined once again in the basement studio by my bolt-necked friend, Tyler. Frankenstein.
That's the best I can do for this because there's no lyrics.
So this song was suggested to us by Alice in Buffalo. I believe Alice is a gal.
Well played, Alice.
But she did say she wants to know what Tyler would think of this song since there are no lyrics for him to reference.
You kicked my butt on this one, Alice. I'll tell you that up front.
And Tyler and I were talking about this earlier today when I saw him, and he says, "You've really thrown me through a loop with this one. It's not me. It's Alice wanted us to see what we thought of Edgar Winter Frankenstein, and mainly Tyler, I guess."
I will tell Alice what I think about this one.
So let's get to a little history on Edgar Winter, or the Edgar Winter Group as they're known. Solo career began in 1970. Edgar's did. Basically, the Edgar Winter Group itself was formed in 1972 in the U.S. And, of course, it's Edgar Winter on vocals, keyboards, saxophone, synth. And let me tell you something. I've been to a Ringo Starr and his all-star band concert and heard this song live, and that's when Edgar Winter was in the group, and he is, he plays everything on the stage. He sings. He's one of the most talented guys I've ever seen.
He's doing all of these instruments at the same time on stage?
Well, no, but through different songs, he'd play Ringo's songs, he'd play Men at Work songs, he would play Toto songs, and obviously he'd play his songs, and he played guitar, he played bass, he played synthesizer, he'd play keyboard, he'd sing. It pretty amazing. And the very first time I saw Ringo, he was in the All-Star Band, and he was supposed to be in them the other couple times, and I don't know what happened, but he was sick or something, didn't make it, and it's unfortunate. But the Edgar Winter Group is obviously him, and I told you what he plays. You've got Dan Hartman on bass and vocals. Obviously no vocals in this song. Ronnie Montrose on guitar and Chuck Ruff on drums. Those are the founders. The peak lineup was pretty much active from 1972 to 1975. They did add Rick Derringer later on, and he's well known for his rock song Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo, which is a song we probably ought to do on this podcast at some point. Edgar Winter really emerged from his brother Johnny Winter's. He was in his orbit, right? And he launched his solo career, and then he formed the Edgar Winter Group with more of that tighter rock synthesizer sound. Signed to Epic Records in 72. I couldn't find the total sales for this group anywhere. And I don't think they've had huge success outside of the album this song's on, but they've been pretty popular. But I'll tell you about this album a little bit later. But they were a major 70s rock act, and this was a big hit for them, without a doubt. All in all, they've released 16 studio albums, 4 live albums, 6 compilations, 2 box sets, and 25 singles. Now in the U.S., they had 6 albums in the top 100, 3 in the top 40, 1 top 10 album, and they only came out at night, which this is off of, was their top 10 album. It went to number 3. So in the UK, 0, 0, and 0. They didn't do very well over there. And you would have thought Frankenstein would have been more welcome in the UK.
Yeah, this has more of a UK kind of feel to it. They like stuff that's more heavy and got a darker tone to it.
Yeah, so in Canada, they had 4 top 100 albums, 2 top 40 albums, and they actually had 2 top 10 albums in Canada. They only come out at night, hit number 4. Shock Treatment, the album, hit number 9. So as far as singles are concerned here in the U.S., they had 7 singles in the top 100, 3 in the top 40, 1 in the top 10. The song we're doing today was their number 1 hit. Yeah, it went to number 1.
This song was a number 1.
It was.
It's instrumental.
I know. And another song that's very popular, Free Ride, hit number 14. And I would say nowadays Free Ride is probably more popular than this. So in the UK, they had just 1 in the top 100 and 1 top 40 hit. That was Frankenstein. It did okay over there. It hit number 18. In Canada, 6 top 100 hits, 3 top 40, 2 top 10 hits, Frankenstein at number 1 and Free Ride at number 8. So they have not been inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That doesn't really matter. Edgar Winter, he's still touring to this day. And like I said, he was with Ringo Starr and his All-Star Band for quite a while. You had Dan Hartman from the group die in 1994, Ronnie Montrose in 2012, and Chuck Ruff in 2011. So the band's kind of decimated now, but this band will always be well known for this song, Frankenstein. They'll be known for Free Ride. They'll be known for their keyboard synth, the showmanship they do through that, and really kind of the genre blending thing they had going on in the early 70s rock. This was different than everything else that was going on. Kind of crazy, but Edgar's obviously Johnny Winter's younger brother. He's worked with a number of people, like I said, Ringo Starr, David Lee Roth, Meatloaf, one of your favorites.
Yeah.
Tina Turner, a bunch of others. There's been a ton of them.
He's also worked with himself. This guy is a one-man band.
Yeah, he is, definitely.
It'd take a lot to get rid of the Edgar Winter Group. You're going to have to take out more than just who you think the leads are, the guitar and the bassist.
Yeah, especially when you got a studio, because he can go in and play everything.
Exactly.
So do you want to get to the song review?
Let's review it.
And now it's time for the song review.
So Alice, we're doing Edgar Winter and Frankenstein, and I guess the first question I have for Tyler is, what is your history with this song before this past week?
I had no idea what the name of this song was.
So you were familiar with it?
Yeah, when I saw this one come up on the list, I'm like, okay, this Frankenstein. Are we doing a Halloween one? Or, in fact, I told my wife about it, and she's like, "Is this Teenage Frankenstein?" I said, "No, this is just Frankenstein." And then she played Teenage Frankenstein by Alice Cooper. And I got a kick out of that one, but I gotta say, I have heard this song before. I just had no idea what his name was because there's no lyrics.
And you had no idea who the group was?
No idea who the group was. I don't think I've ever heard it announced on a radio station what this song was.
Well, let's get into a little history about the song itself. It was released on May 11th of 1973 in the U.S. on Epic Records, and it was released a little later in 1973, I believe in August, but I don't have an exact date, in the UK. The B-side was a song called Undercover Man, and that was the same B-side in both the US and the UK. And like I stated earlier, this comes from the album They Only Come Out at Night. I think this is kind of their most popular, most well-known album. That album reached number 3 on the US Billboard charts. It reached number 18 in the UK and reached number 9 in Canada. Now, the album itself has sold almost 5 million albums worldwide and over 2 million copies here in the U.S. alone. It is certified 2 times platinum by the RIAA. Along with this song, the other real popular song they had, Free Ride, which you can still hear all over the radio nowadays. That's
"Come on and take a free ride."
Exactly. That one was a commercial breakthrough for the band, and it's on this album as well. This song is written and arranged by Edgar Winter. It obviously is a complete instrumental. There's no vocals whatsoever. So you've got Edgar Winter on this thing on keyboard, synthesizer, saxophone, and drums. You've got Rick Derringer on lead guitar, Dan Hartman on bass, and Chuck Ruff on drums as well. Now, this is recorded in 1972 at the record plant in New York and produced by Rick Derringer. So Rick Derringer himself, I mean, not to mention his solo career, but he's worked with Edgar's brother Johnny. He's worked with Steely Dan. He's produced all kinds of people and probably most famously produced Weird Al Yankovic. So this song, what's kind of interesting when I kind of opened up and talked about bolts in your neck like Frankenstein, the funny thing about this is where it's so well known for extensive multi-tracking and synthesizer all over the place, and Edgar playing the multiple instruments on this thing. The Frankenstein word was not, it's kind of a misconception because it's not referring to any kind of horror themes or anything like that. It's actually referring to the monster process of piecing all the multiple tape edits together and building them into this one song. So they're building a monster of a song, and that's why they called this thing Frankenstein.
Yeah, because this is 1973. It's not just drag and clip and whatever.
Yeah.
You're cutting and splicing.
So Frankenstein is referring to that, not an actual
Yeah.
movie monster of some kind.
No, it's actually referring to the
Even
tape.
though the monster wasn't called Frankenstein.
No, it's Frankenstein's monster. In fact, it's called the monster.
Yeah.
In the book.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of a misconception too, getting away from the song, is that Frankenstein was not the name of the monster.
No, but in this case, it is definitely the mess of tape on that reel. I'm sure it was a lot of tape.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed on this was I was reading about it. It says the single version is 4 minutes 44 seconds, and the album version is 4 minutes 47 seconds. Now, why would the album version be 3 seconds longer?
Saxophone outro? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to look into that and see why that is. But I mean, this song is really an instrumental showcase, and it's built around all these different shifting riffs. I mean, you've got a ton of the saxophone, the synthesizer, all those arrangement changes and everything, a ton of drums on this thing all over the place.
All of these backup instruments are the leads in this, and you've got your lead guitar way at the back doing the support.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, isn't it?
It really is. I loved it.
And the thing about this song is it became one of the most successful rock singles, instrumental rock singles, but just rock singles in general, hitting #1 in the 1970s. So as far as a single going #1 here in the U.S., 39 in the U.K., and 7 in Canada, I think estimated global sales of the single alone are well over 1 million copies. So it is the Edgar Winter Group's highest charting and most commercially successful song. I still believe that Free Ride is probably more well known now, but that's just because
it has words.
Yeah, it has words, and it's been used in a lot more film and things. Not that this hasn't. This song's appeared on numerous compilations. Any compilation they do, any greatest hits, various classic rock collections, things like that. It's all over the place. If you listen to the live version, they're kind of interesting because they have expanded solos, and especially from Rick Derringer and Edgar Winter's synthesizer sections. I mean, they go all over the place with this. And that was something I was going to get into, is this song was originally titled the Double Drum Song. That was kind of the working title in the studio. And I guess because there was 2 guys playing drums on it.
2 drummers, yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I really don't know.
Well, we've seen bands that have like 2 guitarists or multiple guitarists, but usually you only have 1 drummer.
You get onto some of their archival releases, expanded editions and things. There are some early alternate takes of this you can hear out there. It's been played by a lot of bands too live, and it really is considered a defining instrumental rock track of all time, really, not just the 70s when it came out. There's quite a few films, television. I mean, they've used it in sports broadcasts, commercials, and it's used quite heavily in sporting arenas too, just because it has that recognizable riff.
Yeah. Well, and it's really hard rock.
In a way, but it's also not. It's kind of weird the way that the drums and the synth mix, because it's just, I think Frankenstein is a perfect word for this song. But I mean, that title Frankenstein, once you understand all the tape edits and things that they had to stitch together, that actually kind of makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Other than it really should have just been called The Monster.
Yeah, that's fitting. But then again, the monster is not nearly as recognizable as Frankenstein. Just like the Frankenstein's monster became more associated with the name Frankenstein than the mad scientist.
Yeah, exactly. And even though I know it, I forget it and say it. Anyways, you don't think about it. But
well, I think everybody knows what you're like. You get an image in their mind of the monster when you say Frankenstein instead of.
Well, because you don't. If you just said the monster, nobody would really understand. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this is one of the earliest songs they really used synthesizer with heavy hard rock together. And I think it really kind of paved the way for some of that harder rock and keyboards to mix. I mean, I think everybody recognizes the riffs in this song. And just like you, I think most people wouldn't, #1, know who it is. And #2, know the name of the song, because there's not even a lyric to grab. And even if there was,
there's no hint at all.
There's no hint of anything. And I think that's why the name Frankenstein's even more perfect for this song.
Yeah, it really is. And it's a beautiful piece of work to listen to this song and hear that synthesizer. Like I said, something that's more of a supporting instrument, even for the time period. You get these guys are using organs and synthesizers and keyboards, but they're not using it necessarily up front. They're using it more as a support, a backup.
As opposed to this song.
This song, it is front and center.
Yeah.
And it's come out with so many different sounds. I really wonder how much this particular song influenced things like the video game industry. Because you hear a lot of the synthesizer, the tunes that it plays in the background to video games at the time. I wonder how the 80s would have been different without this song, because the 80s was heavily built on the synthesizer.
Really surprises me you're going to the 80s and video games off this song, but
I mean, that's just how much that's where my mind went to, because I'm like, I'm recognizing this, but the way that the synthesizer is playing, I'm recognizing like the background music to Nintendo games.
Right? Wow, I never would have went there.
Never. I know you wouldn't have, but I did.
Well, that's fair. So after listening to Frankenstein this week, with the point of, reviewing it, and now you know exactly who the group is, you know some of the details, you know the song a little better. What are your thoughts on Frankenstein?
I think this song says so much without any words, and that's not supposed to sound poetic.
It kind of has to, though.
Yeah, it does, because that's exactly what he does. He tells you, is he telling anything, or is he just writing a symphony in the medium of his time, the way that Mozart or Beethoven would write symphonies?
One thing, and this is kind of out of left field, but this song did hit number one.
Yeah.
How many other instrumentals have hit number one? And I don't even know the answer to that. It's something I should have looked up, and I think I'm going to, but an instrumental to hit number one. I mean, this one's throwing your thought process way out in left field, because a lot of times your ratings are in some ways make or break on the lyrics.
Exactly.
But I kind of wondered what you would be on this one, just simply because there are no lyrics, so you have to take a harder look at the song.
I'm surprised, and maybe Alice will be surprised at how high I rate this one too, because I do put it way up there. So it's got that, let's see, that synthesizer, the keyboard, it's got this solo, and it's just incredible with the way it bends the sounds. It sounds like an electric guitar, the way he's playing it, but it's like, how do you get these sounds out of a keyboard? Blows my mind.
So when I seen him with Ringo, he would play a keyboard slung across him like a guitar.
Okay.
It was kind of interesting. He's sitting there playing the keys just like a guitar.
Yeah.
I'm sure people have seen those where they've got the strap around your shoulder and everything, and he's just out there rocking out on this synth keyboard guitar looking thing. It was kind of crazy.
So like the synth based off of the piano is a what some people have called a hybrid between percussion and string instrument, because it's played with strings, but the strings are sounded by a hammer being struck by the key pounding on the string. And so the synthesizer doing something similar. I guess maybe that's where it comes off, where it sounds like a string instrument, but it's amazing to hear how he plays it and how it takes center stage and showcases. I mean, this is a song I really want to see in concert. And this is just a beautiful piece of artwork. I'm amazed because the synthesizer makes it sound otherworldly at times. And other times, like, it sounds like a different instrument, like an electric guitar, and he's just rocking out on. He's got the saxophone in there, and the saxophone is just wailing and beautiful and doing exactly what a saxophone's supposed to do. And maybe this is what gives birth to the horns being a heavy instrument of the 70s and 80s. The hard rock of this, I'm amazed at how hard rock this comes out with instruments that usually aren't that heavy, but it's got a hard opening. It's right from the get-go, and it's got a strong bass line, but like I said, you hardly ever even hear the guitar because it's so far in the back just playing support. The bass, you get a little bit of the bass here and there, but that's because it's thumping out the rhythm just like the drums are. And to have two drummers on this, it's amazing to hear them going back and forth with like the drums all over the place here. This one just blows me away, especially learning that Edgar Winter is playing 3 instruments in this and having to cut it and splice it together. I have such mad respect for this guy. And the name of the song being Frankenstein is perfect for it. I would have had no idea what you'd call it if not Frankenstein. And I think that he probably picked that in the creating process of it. The double drum song, it doesn't really define this nearly as much as Frankenstein.
No, it doesn't, definitely.
So this is a beautiful piece of artwork that I thoroughly enjoyed listening to. I'm really glad that we got a chance to, because I would have had no idea what the name of this song was had we not done it.
See, you're learning stuff every day.
Every day. So, Alice, you've stretched me, and I've grown. I'm a short guy, but yeah, I've grown. Justin, what are your thoughts on Frankenstein?
I've always enjoyed Frankenstein. For me, after seeing Edgar Winter live, I did, acquire a whole new respect for him. Not that I didn't respect him before, but it was completely different. But this song's one I've been familiar with for years. I've always liked it. Free Ride's a really good song. I was introduced to that, I believe, on the Dazed and Confused movie, which it's a perfect song for that kind of era and a car song type of thing. But this song specifically has the drum opening, and the drums on this thing are really thick. So the double drum song, I mean, like I agree with you, it wouldn't have been a great name for this, but it's a great explanation because the drums are just thicker than shit on this.
Yeah.
This song's, I mean, it really is artwork with music. I don't see how you could ever put vocals or lyrics to it. Really, the guitar is great throughout. I think really there's a good drum solo in it, which is really good. And I don't know if that's by Edgar Winter. I don't know if that's by Chuck Ruff. I'm not sure, but it's amazing. I would assume it's by Edgar Winter just because this is his group and he's the one that spliced the song together. So I'm just guessing. The synthesizer, which I'm not generally a huge fan of. I've talked about on some of our other episodes. I like the keyboard use that you hear in a lot of Deep Purple. And I think we heard a little bit of that with Uriah Heep in one of our earlier songs as well. And I really enjoy it when it's put to hard rock. And the synth is kind of hit or miss for me. It's perfect in this, the way it's used with just kind of heavy rock. So a very excellent song that I've always enjoyed. And it's just fun to sit down here and listen to it on a really good system.
Sure is.
So let's get the song rating.
Song rating.
Okay, listener, if this is your first episode, I will briefly explain our rating scale, 0 to 10, 10 being the best. And I put this one pretty far up there. I put this one at an 8 because this is a beautiful work of art. I don't find myself missing the lyrics as much as I thought I would, because just sitting back and listening to this, it sounds like you're looking at a really intricate painting and absorbing the feeling that painting's giving you, but it's through your ears, and it's a beautiful work of art. So Alice, thank you very much for suggesting Frankenstein. This has been something that took me somewhere that I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it, really, but I've had a great time doing this. And where do you put it, Justin?
Well, although unlike you, Tyler, I don't absorb paintings through my ears.
Yeah.
I understand the analogy, but when you think about it, that sounds kind of strange.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, I can see you absorbing a painting through your ear.
Your eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is a song, like I said earlier, that I've always enjoyed. I think this belongs on. Well, I don't know where this belongs because it's not really a car song. It's not a.
But it's not a car song.
Yeah, but
you're going to enjoy this while driving.
Well, yeah, you certainly can. But, like I said, Free Ride's a kind of a car song and kind of a on the road song or a party song or whatever. This one, I don't even know where you put it, what genre. And I think that's what makes it so special.
I think that's what made it number one.
Well, I do too, because it's so different. That's the way to put it. It's so different.
Yeah. It becomes whatever the person that's listening to wants it to become.
Yeah, but like you, I rate this song an 8.
Oh.
I think it's a very excellent song. I've always enjoyed it. It's one I'm definitely not going to skip when it comes on the radio. And Edgar Winter is someone outside of Free Ride and this song that I'm not super familiar with. And I'm thinking that maybe that's a mistake and that I need to get into a little more of that.
Sure.
So certainly something I'm going to do. So Alice, thank you for kind of working Tyler over on this one. Thank you for the suggestion.
It did kind of kick my butt, Alice. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, his first song without lyrics. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, would like to let us know what you would rate this song or what you think of our rating. If you have any songs or albums you'd like us to rate, send them all to classicvinylpodcast@gmail.com. And I say it every single time, but we really appreciate you guys sending us in these suggestions. We really appreciate you taking the time to listen to us.
For sure.
So until next time, see you later.
See ya.
Thank you so much for listening to Classic Vinyl Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram at Classic Vinyl Podcast for updates, and also share us with your music-loving friends.